Welcome to my channel, and today we are going to search text type for working on text use cases and related use cases tree. So you can check. First, I'm updating the date. This is the on-premises system, and here this is the text type list. You can check GST, GST says, GST, TSTCS, TCS, and TDS. It means GST only. It means this is applicable on those scenarios where we can use GST only. This is based on sales. This is based on where we can use GST, TDS, and TCS. This is for only in the case of TCS, tax collected and sourced, and this is only for the tax deducted at source scenarios. So you all know the full form of GST, goods and services tax. We are starting from here. Select the text type, click on the three dot. Here you can check the action button, go down. You can find here use cases. Specify use cases for tax computations, means calculations. See, you can find here all the use cases, means practical scenarios, situations in which GST will work for you in any kind of document, but you need to check the document type from tax entity name. If it's showing transfer line, it means it will work on transfer related document. If it is showing service transfer line, it means it is related with the service transfer order and lines. If it is using a general journal line, it means it will work on journals. You can check other things. It's showing sales line, it means it will work on sales. And either it may be order, sale invoice, and quotation or blanket orders or lines related scenarios. So you can check the description, the use case, the scenario name. This is related with the export categories, export and goods and services to foreign customers. This is the main title of the scenario, and under this bold category you can check the unhighlighted light showing the text areas. Here you can check the scenario names: export return of goods to SEZ units with payment of duty through sales return order credit memo. You can also use this search box to type, let me guess, for the I'm searching for the registered uh, and unregistered customers related use cases. So sale of goods from registered unregistered customer through sales order and invoices. You can check all the document type and name. This will work on sales order and invoice. These scenarios will not work on the sales quotations. So you need to check how you can get the information reading the description. Tax entity means this will work on sales line related document. It means if you are checking your page, this is the combination of header and line area, and in the line area you can calculate tax. So this will work on sales line area in the sales document, either order or invoice. And this is the button of enabled. It means this tax scenarios are enabled in your system. So you can check all kind of scenarios related with the registered and unregistered customer. And now we can change to the purchase. If I'm going to check the purchase, you can check the purchase credit memo related GST on the import side. And if you are finding the term interstate, it means between two or more states, and intrastate, it means within the state. And it will work on the general lines, journals, and the voucher documents. So you need to find your scenarios. Purchase lines means this will work on. See, this is the example: import of goods from foreign vendor where input tax credit is available through purchase code. This will work on purchase code. So you can check the document name by reading the document type, the description. Import of goods from foreign vendor where input tax credit is not available through purchase order and invoice. This is based on the tax entity purchase line. And if you can click on this, and you can check this on the Excel, and you can also disable if you don't want to use this. And here you can click manage, you can view, or you can edit. So I don't want to edit anything, but I want to copy the case if I want to create my own scenario. So this is the case: import of goods from foreign vendor where input tax credits available through purchase code. So if I want to use and copy this scenario to creating my own, I can use. You can copy this use case to use it in other document, but you need to read all the thing which are covered in the general tab, in the map attributes, because mapping with the table and related things. We can click on the editing to highlight. So you can check text and the description. You can check this will applicable on purchase line uh, of the purchase code document. Okay, if this is in release condition, it means this will be usable. And if you want to modify anything, you need to shift it in on the draft mode, then you can modify anything here. This is the enable button to work this use case in your system. If this is disabled, this will not work. So this is the thing, you can check it out here. And the component formula, see, IGST, the custom duty, and the other thing. And you can check also the how this will calculate based on the base value, than the other thing. GST accessible value plus basic custom duty and the percentile. So this is the base thing. You can check, you can copy, and you can use by renaming the copy data. You can rename it into the other name and use it for the other document in which this kind of scenarios are not available or not working. And you can also check the other thing, the archived logs, the posting setups. See, this will use the posting setup also. This will use the GST posting setups, and in the fields like this will work accounting impact on debit side. And you can also check the page scripts. You can change the scenario if this scenario is not useful for you, you can change it to other. Like we can use this and we can check mat attribute, the table relation, the mapping area, the calculation thing. Same we can check for the sales. The most usable scenario for you, you can check, and this will work on the sales line and all are enabled. Export goods, sale of goods from registered and unregistered dealer, and intrastate sale of resource from registered customer, for fixed assets, for charge item, for unregistered and registered. Let me use this. Interstate sale of goods from registered customer through sales order or invoice. So we can check. This is the description. This will work on sales line. This is in the released condition. It means it will work, and this is also enabled for our system. We can check also the version and the developer company name and mapping attributes. No need to change anything. If you are not aware the impact of it, you can just check all the thing, how it is designed, the component formula. See, this is the main expression formula. So we can check all the thing. And these use cases, the main use cases are belong to our use case tree. So I'm showing you the use case tree. How you can check use case tree in the Business Central? Use the search box, type use case tree, and click on this. You can find use case tree via searching and using the searching box. So this is the use case tree. You can check the code, the tax engine name, the node type, the tax entity name, and the condition, in which condition it will work. So if I want to see the TDS related, see, calculation of interstate GST TDS from registered customer, the use case, and it will work on the general line. So if anyone's said that to you that uh, this is not applicable in the Business Central and will not work in general line, you can check by your own way using this kind of style. Okay, so this is uh, the information. This scenario, calculation of interstate GST TDS from registered customer, you will not find in purchase or sales document, because this is related with the customer, and this will not useful and covered under the sales document. But if you want to create any kind of voucher entry, you can use it, because this will work on general line. It means you can use general voucher, any kind of journal in 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 there, you can work this kind of scenarios. So instead of using any order invoice document, you can use general journal or any kind of journal document or any kind of purchase or journal voucher. Okay, same for TCS. See, lots of scenarios are here, and if it's showing, this kind of scenarios like calculation of inter state, it means between two states, and intrastate it means within state, means local, for the local vendors. So this will work on the general line. But if I need any kind of scenario for those documents, we can use in the sales document. These are the scenarios. So you need to compare it with the use case, that it will work in sales line or not. So if my scenario is based on the sales document, we need this kind of use cases, like anything what is applicable for you. So you may check, is Business Central allowing you to do this kind of scenarios in which kind of document? If this is the case, this will work on general. If this is the case, this will work on sales order, invoice, and other sales document. See, sales, this will work on sales quote, this will work on sales quote, sales order, and a sale invoice. So system will showing that this use case will work only sales quote, sales order, and sale invoice. So this will automatically work when you open the sales quote, order, or invoice, and you assigned TCS as the tax category in that document. This will automatically get information from this use case tree. And same you can check for the GST. GST for service management, GST credit non-availment, availment, and plain GST you can check for the standalone GST cases related with the reverse charge, related with the import, and so on. So you can type and get information from here, or you can search for any kind of tax related information, tax related scenarios, case studies. If Business Central providing you the scenarios inbuilt in the system, it will automatically work for you. The thing is that you need to check only the scenario is working only for journals kind of document, or it will work for order, quote, or invoice. This is the simplest thing to get your answers using this kind of text type, or use case tree to find your practical use cases, scenarios, and the information to know this kind of scenarios will work on which documents. Microsoft are providing the facility to work this kind of scenario in all document, or only the specific document. If you get the information that this kind of scenarios only work under the general line, it will not work for the sales line, it means you need to use a general or general voucher to post these kind of scenarios as voucher entries. Thank you for watching.